So it seems IGN has got itself into a bit of a pickle. Not only IGN, but the copium coming from PlayStation fans after the dismal showcase that was the PlayStation Showcase 2023 to their standards, right? Based on their standards and what we've come to expect, this was not their greatest showing. In fact, it was quite subpar to the point where you could compare it to an Xbox presentation. Now, that's not giving any Xbox presentation like any stick or anything. The reality is their presentations have been mid for quite some time. They've not really had any bangers, and the one that they did have, well, none of their games came out. So it's good showing me a really good presentation with games that are gonna come out within the next 12 months. That's great, but if you're showing me games that are gonna come out in the next 10 years, well, I just don't care. So on this occasion, it was PlayStation's turn to have a dud presentation, and what a dud it actually was. But we do have to look at the actual media response to this, and it's very clear that the media response to this has been, man, this is dead silence. And IGN, as of late, have actually picked up a lot of hate from the community, and to some degree, rightfully so. Their one-sided biasness towards PlayStation is ever more growing, with one of their lead producers actually coming into their chat and outright mocking Xbox by saying, well, this presentation may have been not so great, but at least it's not an Xbox presentation. Like, there's no need for this sort of, action. Then they were also tweeting about this as well. I mean, the one-sidedness of IGN is clear as day to see, and anyone like that, refuses to acknowledge this, I'm sorry, but you are also part of the problem. You are biased as well. There is no two ways about it. I mean, there's a post here from IGN, Naughty Dog's upcoming multiplayer project set in the Last of Us universe for PlayStation, and it has a picture, a thumbnail, that says Sony has allegedly slowed down development on the Last of Us multiplayer game. When that isn't the case at all. Bungie went in and said, this is shit, you need to go back to the drawing board and redo things because there's not enough engagement here for the community. Now, coming from Bungie, I assume this is going to be not enough grind, not enough microtransactions, not enough paywalling, that sort of thing. But enough of the Bungie stuff. This is unacceptable from a publication like IGN. Now, fast track back to when Xbox's presentation happened. There's a quote that I found from IGN. Another one bites the dust under Phil's first party. I'm here to ask, will Xbox get another game out of its first party this decade? It's a really big contrast. This was relating to Starfield's delay. That's a really big contrast in change of tone, language, and quite honestly, hatred towards Xbox. It's clear that they don't like the Xbox platform. They don't have the kahunas to come out and say that they don't like Xbox. And, I think some of that hate was being directed to Destin. He has reported on a couple of stuff, especially with the whole PlayStation 4 has 1080p, Xbox has 900p. That was factual information. So I'm not going to sit here and go against the guy because he actually reported something that was factual. At the time, the Kinect was using too much of the resources. It was reserving too much and not giving that availability. Even when the Kinect wasn't sold with the Xbox, it was still being reserved for when you needed it. And that affected performance. And after a while, when that was actually changed, and Microsoft gave the developers the freedom to use that resource, well, Xbox's 900p went up to 1080p. And then they were pretty much on par. But, it wasn't until the Xbox One X that the Xbox One actually pushed ahead of the Pro because it was just more powerful. But I don't really see what Destin has said, and if people do find stuff that Destin said that was completely bad against Xbox, do let me know in the comment section below. I've been watching his content for a good while, and honestly, that guy has been nothing but supportive for Xbox. In fact, I'd say he's got a soft spot for Xbox. Now, for the rest of IGN, like Ryan and Kat and so forth, they have a stick for Xbox for some reason, and I don't know why. Maybe it literally is because Sony's paying them more and giving them more freebies and is basically buying their loyalty. I genuinely don't know. But whatever it is, when you see two contrasting articles like this, you have to ask yourself, like, why? Why is IGN doing this? Why are they putting themselves in a position to basically be targeted and attacked when there's really no reason for them to pick sides? There really isn't. And it's quite disgraceful of a publication at the size of IGN. I get there's going to be some biasness, but to this extent, it's kind of... I don't know, it's pathetic, is what I want to say. It's pathetic. Now, the other news I wanted to touch on is the actual presentation. Now, I've released a video already regarding this, but so many people out there who, you know, PlayStation fans in general, are now suffering from severe copium. Now, I agree that exclusives are important, especially when it comes to first party. Your first party exclusives define your console. They define your platform. So Microsoft, when they don't release first party exclusives and they've just got third party, there's no reason for you to choose an Xbox over, say, a PlayStation, because PlayStation has those said exclusives, you know, those said third parties, but they offer their first party. But now, PlayStation fans have changed tone after this presentation, and now they're saying that exclusives don't matter and it's all about the third party. Now, the change in contrast to this is pretty significant. So does this mean now that PlayStation has no games? Because that was the motto. Because Xbox didn't have first party exclusives, they had no games. So now that PlayStation hasn't got exclusives, does this mean PlayStation has no games? I'll leave that one for you to ponder. Let me know in the comment section below, because this is hilarious. The fact that they are all now saying that exclusives do not matter is mind-blowing. It's really sad to see that they've actually crumbled after one bad presentation to the point where they can't even properly function with anything. But yeah, there was news that Sony were picking up CD Projekt Red. That's been debunked, and that's been denied. So hopefully we'll see some news about what Sony's next plans are. They did get $8 billion, so they are looking at ways to actually invest that in companies. Now, do I find it wrong that PlayStation is going for either, you know, a company like CD Projekt Red? Look, all acquisitions are bad for gaming, period. But if it's okay for Microsoft to do it, then I've got no problem with Sony doing it. It's that simple. If it's okay for one, it's okay for the other. Do I have to agree with it? No, I think it's absolutely horrendously bad for gaming because it restricts games for gamers, right? Bethesda games are now restricted for PlayStation gamers for life. Period. ABK games, after the 10-year deal goes through, you can pretty much guarantee that for at least console, loads of those games are going to get restricted. If the deal goes through, that is. So there's no two ways of looking at this. Maybe on the cloud it will remain, but even that after 10 years, I can see them pulling the plug. But overall, it's bad, and hopefully we'll find a solution that actually stops this, but I don't think there's any stopping it now that the cat's out of the bag. But, you know, it is what it is. IGN, sort your shit out. Stop this one-sided propaganda BS that you're doing towards PlayStation. They may be giving you the freebies. They may be even buying your loyalty. It just shows more it says more about you as a publication, which people have already known for a long time, than anything else. Your double standards for PlayStation and Xbox is surreal, and it's just pushing more people away from your publications. Or maybe you're just doing it for clickbait, because you know it's going to rile people up, get people talking about you. There's a saying, no PR is bad PR. But I actually don't want to see a single IGN article ever again. And I probably, will very reluctantly go to your website unless I see something that I cannot find anywhere else. Because I don't want that sort of journalism in my life. Anyway, that's it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion, and I'll see you in the next one. Remain legend.